That one. There
And
we go.
speaking of the Roadmap Roundup, the store, or not the store, the website changed again.
It looks good.
It does look good. That's like Comlink is a bit harder to find now. But it's hard to find in a good way because
Mm-hmm.
other stuff is easier to find. The homepage is better. Obviously, there are people who don't like it, people who do like it. I think one of the funniest tinfoil hatty updates they made is there's games, our games, Play Now, Star Citizen, and in development Squadron 42. Fine, whatever. But under shop, experience our game Squadron 42. No, Squadron 42 is not back up on the store yet. Expect that at CitizenCon. Um, I'm not saying we know anything about it. We're just expecting Squadron to be a pretty high focus of J2, plus it going back up on the store. And I would like to know if they announce that Squadron 42 has gone gold, I want to know what day, because Jared just posted that he shaved his beard again. And I want to know if he shaved it because Disney Squadron went gold.
Uh-huh.
Because like
Yeah.
324 is out, that's not a real big deal. The server meshing isn't in yet. 4.0 is not in yet. What else could be? It has to be something we don't know about. This is assuming that he lives his entire life about it. I don't know what the scientific word for hair is, his facial hair, in a relation to Star Citizen Project or Clan Imperium Project. He doesn't. He is a person outside of his Clan Imperium. I just think it's funny to tinfoil hat theories.
No, I,
To poke
I I believe it too because
what,
he's
Jersey? What
made.
does this mean? And what tinfoil hats to flats?
Yeah, well, it like they've made a big deal about Jared shaving before, or lack thereof, not shaving.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I don't know. It feels like too much
Not they,
coincidence for
not they,
me.
just Jared. Just Jared
Yeah,
has done
Jared
this,
did.
and he.
Yeah, and he posted it. So
I
it's
don't.
like,
So I think he's an amazing host, but I don't think he'd be a very good comedian because all of his jokes are one-offs, and he does not like to repeat himself. Like I like his jokes. I love the whole Halloween Habs of Horror thing, but he doesn't like to repeat his jokes, and that's perfectly fine. So he did the whole no shave till which patch was it?
3.0.
Was it 3.0? No shave till 3.0, and
It
then he
was
shaves it, and the people are expecting him to do that joke again. He's not going to. It's not his style of jokes. That's right. It's with the Roadmap Roundup. It's
I
telling
wonder
me
if maybe
there.
he lost a bet.
I don't know. I think the going back and forth is really good. I honestly like that he goes back and forth because he gets that like full beard and he looks like he's a bit more seasoned, bit more tired, honestly, and just kind of like been doing this a while. It's kind of like, is he getting ready to leave? And then he shaves it off and like, wow, you're ready to like go another few rounds. Like it's really good. I just like the back and forth he does. I imagine that's why he does it because he probably likes it too. What was I about to say? Oh, the index of all these is currently updated, so the room roundup for this last week is in there.
Oh, drop the link in the chat.
Now I can go open it because I lost on my tab.
Um,
It's in sheets.
if you want to read the header,
Absolutely. So, as we are to do when we do these things, we like to read the headers because it gives you the intention, lets us all know, everyone together that listens to this, the intention of whatever document straight from CIG that we're reading. Much like reading a letter from Chris himself, we want to know the intention and why we're reading this, why this information is coming to us. That way we know what to do with said information. So, happy Wednesday, everyone. Every 2 weeks, we accompany the roadmap update with a brief explanatory note to give you insight into the decision making that led to any changes. This is part of an effort to make our communications more transparent, more specific, and more insightful for all of you who help make Star Citizen and Squadron 42 possible. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into this week's Roadmap Roundup, the CIG community team. and I actually added a feature to the index which calls out non-standard headers, which looks a
Oh,
bit broken right now.
whoops. It's because of 324.
No, it's right. Just the first few headers are not standard, is why a lot of them are lit up. I just need to do a couple tweaks to add more rules. Share. F1 link can view. Copy link. There you guys go. So eventually, I'd like to get all of the monthly reports in it, which I've already started. I'm already up to 3 or so. And I'd like to get all the jump points in here as well, because the reason I'm making the index is to make everything Control F searchable. So that any time somebody wants to know what's the history of this thing, or where is this thing, or where did this thing go, I thought it was on the roadmap, Control F in the indexes, and you can figure it out. And I've also started an adjacent archive, which is why I'm going to start doing archive stuff, both in video and in streams. Going back and documenting all of the images that Star Citizen has posted since the beginning of time. Yay! So like stuff in the subscriber vault, stuff that shows up in ship manuals, what are they called? Ship brochure?
Oh.
Yeah, the ship sail brochures.
The
Basically,
transmissions.
yeah, everything. If there's and there's commercials. Well, shoot. If there is an image that has been posted somewhere, I will be making that available in a Patreon. Not Patreon. That'd be fun. In a Pinterest. There we go. Pinterest board, because Pinterest lets me do tags and links, as well as title and descriptions.
Cool.
And so there is that. I only have 13 pins currently. But there's some good history in the ones that I did find, because I found the original that Chris directing, and it's like bleached in red, that he uses on most of the times when there's a post about him or from him. And so it's on the set of Wing Commander movie 1999, and Hugh Quashire is the other actor in the image. It's the opening
That takes
scene.
me back. Why don't you go ahead and just read the updates, and then we can talk about them.
All right. So notable changes for September 4th, 2024. Release view. The following cards have been moved into Alpha 324 column, targeting 324X release. Something they don't mention, but is pertinent, moved from 4.0 back to 324. So the cards that were moved are the RSI Zeus Mark II, ES, and CL. And both the descriptions are the same: building, balancing, and implementing RSI's small multi-crew ship. And then the CL says cargo ship. Zeus Mark II ES and Mark II CL into the game. And then the following cards have been added to the release view: the Saber Peregrine, just because it was a straight flyable. Building, balancing, and implementing Aegis racing ship, the Peregrine, into the game. So Peregrine is just there because it's now out, straight to flyable. Surprise, here you go, his racing ship. It's a good racing ship too. But I imagine we have much to discuss about the ES and CL moving backwards.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of a delay?
Gosh, I don't know. They're are they ahead of schedule? You know, because that's the thing that I've been seeing everybody posting about. Oh, the Zeus is ahead of schedule. Hooray! It's going to be released sooner. And I'm like, hold on. No, nothing has changed, folks, and we're going to talk about why. But before we do that, last I checked, there were no updates to the progress tracker with this update.
I was there when it was posted, and so I'm like, okay, so Shiny's gonna have, like, you know, at least a few hours to till he gets on it, and I forgot to go back and check.
Do you want to take a look real quick while I pull up the other link?
Delta,
just to make
and
sure.
we are on the 4th.
Yeah, because as far as I know, there weren't any additions. We are anticipating, because that's what they said in the Roadmap Roundup, that there will be additional teams and deliverables added
Yeah, I
to
don't
the
think
new progress
he
tracker
did a
format.
delta. I don't
Oh,
think he's
okay.
posted. Oh, no changes have been detected for the week 2024-09-04. Check
Okay.
back next time.
Cool.
Thank you for the note, Shiny. That's very helpful.
So we know that the Zeuses, the Zeus, I don't know what's the plural.
I think it's
The
Zeus.
Zeuses are targeting a 324.x release. They were on the 4.0 release column when
Do you have the
4.0
clip?
was still targeted for. Yep. Yeah. When I think I know the one you're talking about. When 4.0 was still targeted for Q3. Now 4.0 is targeted for Q3. That means it's the whole numbered patch preceding CitizenCon and IAE. And so usually what happens is the Q3 patch, which usually releases, a couple weeks late, right before a week or two before CitizenCon, and then we get a .x for CitizenCon and a different .x for IAE. Now, since 4.0 has been, pushed back to Q4, we don't know when in Q4 it's going to be coming. We talked about this in the last podcast. We tend to think that it's probably going to be between CitizenCon and IAE, because it really shouldn't have been delayed all that much, especially because they're trying to do another tech preview test right now. But so we had this comment on Spectrum from Niku, who is the French community manager, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Niku has since Niku got hired, they have been Johnny on the spot with the information, and so they've got.
So,
Go ahead.
Nico's also summarizes all of the posts from. I don't know if it's like an invite only or how you get a hold of it, but Paul's Discord specifically has a news channel specifically that he got invited to, that Nico posts summarizations by him of all of the Star Citizen content. So most of us have the Reddit bot in our Discord, and that's Reddit doing it. Or if he posts on Reddit, then they'll go over. But he posts summarizations of ISCs, SCLs, different posts, and basically he is a one-stop shop for anything that is published by CIG. So he is doing amazing. How does he find time for outreach? I have no idea.
Yeah,
He's just amazing at it.
just nuts. And I think the reason that Niku does their own summaries afterwards is because they have access to the people who said the things. They will go back and be like, "Hey, I want to create a summary. This is what I got. What do you think of what I have?" And that way they can put things into proper context versus, the Reddit one that was done by the whoever's on the Star Citizen Discord. That's their own bias from outside of CIG. So that's why this is really good.
I've
But anyway,
chosen
so
Hotfoot.
yeah.
I'm looking through the antonyms of delay, and there's just no good ones like hasten, hurry, rush. But like those don't carry like it wasn't rushed. But I'm choosing Hotfoot.
Hotfoot.
They've been Hotfoot.
So this person made a comment on Spectrum, posted on Spectrum, asking if we get a 3.24.x patch just because they're upset about the state of 3.24. Cool, you're upset about the state of 3.24. You can leave constructive feedback and say things without saying this is just a joke. That's just rude. Don't say those things. Updates the PU should improve things and not make it worse. Sorry, that's not how
We'll
this
get
always
back
works,
to that
buddy.
later.
Yeah. But Niku replied, "We are currently working on multiple hotfixes for the live environment, which we've already seen multiples. We saw them in the first weekend last week, and they're continuing to do so, intending to roll these out by this weekend." There they are. There will also be multiple 3.24.x patches, both with content, bug fixes, and quality of life improvements. We appreciate your patience while we're steaming these out. So, multiple 3.24.x patches. Paul replies, content patches sound like y'all are going to be posting 3.24.x patches to IAE. Any update on these planned patches would be helpful to set proper expectations. So that's what a lot of people are worried that IAE is going to be a 3.24.x patch and 4.0 isn't coming until the end of the year. But we talked about that last podcast. But we already have 3.24.1 a week. It's not to live yet, but it's open for everybody a week after 3.24 went out. And our Stompy Boy Savior is in it. I haven't read the patch notes for it, so I don't know what other changes are in there, and what other fixes
So far,
and
just
such.
a lot of bug fixes.
Yeah, which is great. But that's a 3.24x patch in a single week. And so there are probably going to be multiples. One of them will definitely be the CitizenCon patch, because we're only about 6 weeks away from CitizenCon. And the reason
6
this
weeks.
is
That's way sooner. It's way
I
sooner
know
than 6
time
weeks.
is flying. Holy crap!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's exactly 6 weeks in mine.
Yep. Math,
I was working on my calendar. Yeah, I was working on my calendar, and I basically my brain only does calendar in like it has to have an end on it. I can't just calendar out to nowhere. So my current buffer for my calendar goes out to CitizenCon. So my current like streaming schedule and everything, the 6 streams a week, is going to be definite till CitizenCon, and then we'll figure it out. Then we're doing 48-hour stream for that.
Northern Trooper says, don't they still have tickets for sale? Yeah, I thought they opened
Not
it
yet.
back up.
There's going to be one more push.
Yeah, I don't know what changed to open it back up for more.
So the venue that they have is expandable.
Oh, I guess based off the demand, they were able to say, "Hey, we got more people."
Best friends. Yep.
Hey,
Yeah.
Liquid Wayne, thanks for coming and saying hi. Thanks for the support, subscribing for 3 months. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I imagine you're like, oh my gosh, we have this much. Yeah, good idea.
Thing about the
so
how funds.
Yeah, so Liquid Wayne just subscribed, and Moobot at the perfect timing, talking about stackup.org. Just to remind everybody, and again, thank you, Liquid Wayne, for the sub. And someone else subbed earlier when we first got started. I apologize for forgetting already. Yeah, Brennan G subscribed. So I keep no monetization for myself. When I get a payout from Twitch or YouTube, I donate it to stackup.org. Stackup.org is a veterans charity helping connect veterans and military members with video games and video game communities in order to combat PTSD and the stressors of being deployed and away from friends and family. And so from our fundraising last year, we raised nearly $2,000, and we sponsored a loot crate that was sent to a bunch of Marines who are being deployed aboard ship, just like I used to do way back when. And so super cool mission. Really glad to support it, and I'm glad all you are here joining us in that mission. So yeah.
According to the countdown, CitizenCon is going to start at 4 a.m. on the East Coast.
Oh man, so if it's 4 a.m. on the East Coast, it'll be 2 a.m. here. Jeez.
Dang, the West Coast people just don't. So, but we're starting. So me, Ender, and Haban, two people in my organization, both also content creators, but very like sporadic content creators so far. I stream with Ender every Thursday a week, currently. Our planning then our 48-hour stream as we did last year, and we're starting it in the evening Friday. I thought we'd like have way more time than. Yeah, so the evening on Friday, and I'm like, I think we're starting at 10, so it would have been 45 minutes ago, and we'll only have 5 hours till it starts.
I will be sure to make time to join you guys during the weekend.
Absolutely.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So this note from Niku about there being multiple 3.24.x patches coming a week before the update to the roadmap, where the Zeuses are targeting a 3.24.x patch, should be telling everybody that the Zeus release date did not change. It was always going to be CitizenCon. It's just CitizenCon had intended to be a 4.0.x patch. It can't do, it's CitizenCon. 4.0 was, or 4.0 was delayed. So now a CitizenCon patch will be a 3.24.x patch. And here is why. In case everybody forgot, CitizenCon last year during Talking Ship, they explained.
That's the one.
Yep. They explained that they want to develop the Zeus just like they did the Spirit, where the Spirit was released as a concept at CitizenCon 2952, and then released was actually released at CitizenCon last year. And so last year we got the Zeus as a concept. This year we'll get the Zeus released at CitizenCon. And here's the clip.
So
that's the ST.
Last year we introduced the Spirit, and anyone that may be playing on their live the last couple of days might have seen a new ship added to the verse, the A1. We hope to follow a similar route with the Zeus, where we announce it today, and then in about a year's time, hopefully it'll be ready to reveal to the public to actually play with. But this isn't just a concept. We're not just going to show you some images.
Very sneaky. Not the MR, not the ES, not the CL, the ST. But yeah.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, they were.
We didn't have any like official places to point at to tell people the ST still exists.
Mm-hmm.
It still exists. Insert meme guy pointing at something.
And they talked about how their ability to predict how long it will take them to develop a ship has gotten to the point where they can do so in terms of scheduling and everything to a matter of days, if not a couple of weeks.
I think the actual words he said was 8 days.
Yep.
Within 8 days.
The cutter, they were within just a matter of days in terms of when they were able to finish it. And so
also,
that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, they've gotten better at ship making because the A1 and C1 had to come in 2 separate patches. And I believe, when was the, oh crap. It was, because he just mentioned that the A1 made it in for CitizenCon.
The C1 was
to
IE,
the much
wasn't it?
chagrin of
C1 owners.
That's basically anyone who didn't want to do bombing. Like most people like had the C1, got the A1, or had other vehicles, the Zeus owners included. And we all got a bomber for our troubles. I mean, it was fun, but I maybe used that functionality once. And it didn't even like it was fun, but like it was a skill that I didn't care to learn because it was gonna be taken away in a little minute, and I don't need a ground bomber, at least that way. What I want is we get a rocket turret that on the bottom of the M2. That'd be helpful.
What we need is legit bombing missions, and we need the bombing mechanic to, pardon me, be more mature. It's still very
that makes sense. Yeah.
Pardon me. There you go. Very rudimentary.
Where is the C1? Hold on. Open all the things. Okay, so the A1 and C1 did make it into the same overall patch, but it must have been a point patch after it. Because I know there was what felt like a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
But apparently it was
about it.
That's interesting because 322 was December, and 321 with the A and C2 was October. It felt like so long.
Did they ever fix the A1 cluster bombing, or was it just one release at a time? You know what? I have no idea.
That's weapon balance. It's like it probably changes every patch.
Yep.
Like the flight mechanics currently. Whoa.
So, that's the Roadmap Roundup for September 4th. So no huge changes, but just again setting expectations because a lot of people have thought that, yeah, especially after what Jared said regarding ISC next week, a lot of people thought the Zeus was coming a lot sooner. Just saying, it might come sooner. I think they're probably going to hold it until CitizenCon, so that way they can do what they did because they went over the Spirit release in this panel at CitizenCon. I think they're going to do the same thing about the Zeus and how it came to be, and basically they'll give it its 15 seconds of fame.
And then it will get way more when it gets into the hands of players because, oh my gosh, there's so much love for the Zeus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think the love for the Zeus has far eclipsed that for the Spirit.
Yeah.
But then, what's gonna? I would be willing to bet they do the same thing.
Yeah.
The Spirit is a 2-person ship. The Zeus is a 2 to 3-person ship. I would be willing to bet we get a new concept 2 to 3-person ship.
E1's waiting on gameplay.
Yep.
We'll hear about that when the gameplay teams are unlocked by gameplay. So first we need server meshing, then we need all the stuff from server meshing to get in and harden, and then the gameplay teams need to be able to circle back around to creating an entire new loop, which they probably want to focus on fixing the loops we have already.
They don't want to have
a new one.
A jank version of personnel transport when what they're going for is server meshing with NPCs actually walking out, into your hangar and boarding your ship based off of Quantum Star Sim telling them to do so. What about the Polaris? Polaris is IAE. They're targeting IAE for the Polaris.
I think it's very telling that we still don't have the Polaris on the roadmap because it has not been moved to 324. Which means, to me, and this is a little tinfoil hatty, but more...
well, the Polaris isn't even on the release view.
What's the... Yeah, that's what I mean. I know it's not there, but the fact that it hasn't been put into 324 column...
Oh, yeah.
It's still very telling to me. Educated guess, that's the word I'm looking for. A little bit tinfoil hat, but more of a educated guess. That 4.0 can, and they're still planning on 4.0 being an IAE patch.
Yep.
And you have your timeline you're working with.
I completely agree. Because I do think we're going to get some more things added to 4.0 before it goes.
Which I think is hilarious
testing.
because it's going to keep people out of Pyro. Because no, the AIE organization is not going to hold an IE event, an aerospace...
Intergalactic Aerospace Expo.
Aerospace Expo in a lawless, terrorist-ridden system. Much like the Olympics isn't going to hold it in North Korea, I think.
Yeah,
at least,
or
they won't hold it
Somalia,
or a country that's currently under war. They're like IAE is kind of the same kind of an organization.
Shimbasa, I don't think that they're going to kick 4.0 out the door to live at CitizenCon.
Always.
They have done that before, but that was with patches that were less significant. I think that we will definitely be in PTU by CitizenCon, and they'll talk about it, and I think they're going to be candid about, hey, we wanted to be here sooner, but we're at PTU, we're getting great data, appreciate all your help, but I don't think they're going to rush it out just to say we got it out at CitizenCon, because the big thing is they want to be able to get good testing for it. Now, do they want to get it to live sooner rather than later? Yeah, because live is where they get the data they need, the concurrency data for server meshing testing. But they still have to test the features. They're not going to push all these features out without testing them appropriately. And it's almost it's not as thick as 323. Oh, and especially given that all this is one patch branch, 323 and 324. But there's still a good chunk of stuff here in 4.0 with more very likely. And so those things do need to still go through the whole Evo and PTU phase, just like a normal patch without server meshing. But I think we're going to get more of the concurrency data for server meshing with tech preview tests than what they'll get in Evo and PTU. Even though people will want to test 4.0, people don't play the PTU very much, and more
And like
people
they
play
said in SAL,
PTU.
they don't play it the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point. People do things differently in PTU than they do in live because you're not really progressing or anything like that. There's no consequences and such. Um, and so the data for Evo and PTU that they get for server meshing will not be great, which is why they're doing the tech previews. But
Yep.
we still need to test all these features, and it's going to take a while to test all this stuff.
And CitizenCon also is very little about 4.0. 4.0 is the footnote of CitizenCon.
Yeah.
CitizenCon is about, as far as we know, and this is a little more speculation, more picking up on how they've been posturing all their content. CitizenCon is about 1.0 and Squadron's release. Not saying it's releasing at CitizenCon, don't twist words, but it's about the release. It's about Squadron getting out the gate, and it's about placing the gate for Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's finally giving, like, telegraphing, I think that's what the term is. Basically, letting everyone know, news orgs, players, backers, people who don't care about the game, developers, everyone, telling people where the finish line is. But it's also game development expected to move.
Yep.
But it won't feature creep anymore. Feature creep is for after the 1.0 live release.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things change after 1.0, which basically PTU will then be a static feature that will always be there, I assume, to test stuff. And like people have been begging CIG to do for the past several years because they don't know how alpha games work, to treat the game like a live release. 1.0 is that live release where they stop treating it as an alpha because it won't be alpha anymore.
Yep. So that
I like dates. Yes.
Yeah.
Like dates.
We're gonna get a Squadron date. I guarantee it.
I hope they don't give a
willing to bet money. 1.0
date. Please don't give a 1.0
No,
date.
no.
God,
If they do that, that would be a giant mistake. But Squadron for sure. Yeah.
Giant Kazi steak.
Yeah. So let's move on to server meshing news. So I was hoping. I worked. I flew with the Army on Wednesday. I had 2 different flights, and so I got off late. Dibley says, replace the future feature creep with addressing the ship backlog, please, pretty please.
What?
That's not how it works.
Replace feature creep with addressing the ship backlog. They addressed the ship backlog last CitizenCon. They have a plan on how to tackle it and how they're going to tackle it. A lot of the ships, almost half the ships in the backlog aren't in the backlog. So Javelin, all the Idrises, they're already done. Bigger ships like the Orion, specifically the Orion Pioneer, they're gameplay locked. Ships like the Kraken, again, really big ship, they are locked behind mostly time and talent and time of the talent. And so much like they're doing the Polaris Galaxy Perseus, they're probably going to do for a couple of Drake ships, probably Ironclad. And we're probably going to see a much bigger Anvil ship as they go with the whatever that big ship is and the Liberator. Because big ships are a lot of time and dedication for functionally little payback for the game, for the player base overall. Jupiter's not a thing yet. Hold your horses. You must.
I do hope we get an update to this segment of the ship talk.
Yes.
I would love
Very
to
few
hear
people can
how
shell
that
out
is
for
going.
big ships. I imagine they make way more for selling good small ships, aka Zeuses and Atlases. than they would from even the fame of the fabled Atlas Anvil capital ship. I think they would make more from the player base overall with the Zeus.
Oh yeah, no, that is, and we've talked about this. The more things that are more affordable makes you more money than less things that are less affordable or less affordable. But like I want to see, how has the ship team continued to grow? Are they continuing to grow it? What has been their progress on, um, their refining their techniques and their pipeline and such. But yeah, this segment is a
Oh,
must
that's
watch
what
for
Steve.
everybody for understanding how this works. And the other part of it that's really important is this slide right here and what they're talking about. This is why they can't just continue to add ships into perpetuity,
Mm-hmm.
because the amount of support work just becomes exponential, especially as more features are added and more gameplay is added, more and tech is added. That requires more support for each ship. And when the Carrack came out and it was really cool looking and it didn't have really hardly any functionality, it's a lot easier to support. But with all the other things, with resource management and engineering, with repair gameplay, with drone gameplay, with scanning gameplay, all that stuff coming, when the Carrack becomes feature complete, the amount of work for them to continue to support it in an ongoing fashion, because they have to continue to. It's not a matter of oh, okay, well, we just need to update this. It's every patch. Someone's gonna have to go through and do a pass and make sure that the ship still functions, and continue to balance things appropriately. And it's an exponential curve as they add more ships, and so they have to move away from this, because otherwise, if they just exponentially add more and more ships, or add more, lots more ships, the amount of people that will be required to do so will go up a lot more. They won't be able to continue to do that much work with, less than 3 dozen people. Hey, Azaro07, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
So the question was asked, "What's the SD4?" It is a racing ship. It's probably my second favorite racing ship because, well,
It's a
yeah,
Steve.
it's probably my second favorite racing ship.
Steve goes fast. I agree with Shimpasta.
Somehow within like the last patch, I guess, because technically it was my second favorite behind the Arrow. Now it's my second favorite, and the Arrow's in third place because of the Peregrine. Like, Peregrine's really good. I really like the Peregrine. I love how it flies, and it's a racing ship, which means no guns. Nice. So yes, I don't know where we know ST from, because I don't think we don't have any ships that are STs in the game already. Definitely not anything from RSI. And also, the other Steve is a great guy. Just putting that out there.
Let's
You'll
move
put
on
Steve in
to server meshing news. One picture is better than thousands of words. Yeah.